The list is currently Garcia, Walsh, Scott. Mr. Garcia.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I want to thank the witnesses. This has actually been a very enlightening and frankly clarifying couple of hours for me, but I think in a most disappointing way. I've been personally baffled over the last 2 years about our southern border policies coming out of this administration, where in the last year we had 30 times the number of people die as a result of fentanyl poisonings than folks died during the 9/11 event. Today, more people in our country will die of fentanyl poisoning than Americans died overseas in one day of World War II operations. And what's enlightening to me is that we didn't spend almost any time on this topic today, except for the questions that have been posed to you. I read the 39 pages of the ATA, the 15 minutes of your testimony, Director Haynes, and really no mention of these things. You talk about misperceptions of U.S. policies when we are actually being actively invaded on our southern border right now as a result of this administration's policy. So what's clarifying to me is the fact that we're sitting here with 5 people with billets such as Director of National Intelligence, Director of Central Intelligence, Director of National Security Agent, Director of Defense Intelligence Agency, and the FBI, and you guys aren't messaging this as the #1 threat. I look at your table of contents within the annual threat assessment. You got China, Russia, Iran, North Korea, climate change, health security, developments in technology, transnational organizations, global terrorism, and the like. And I agree with these topics, and I want to put a boot on the throat of Russia, China, North Korea, and Iran just as much as anyone else. But this it's a shame that the fact that these poisonings right now that you characterize as overdoses and the migration challenges, as you say, Director Haynes, which are not migration challenges, this is an active invasion of our southern border, are being characterized by this body. It's indicative to me that you are not briefing the President of the United States on these issues correctly and that you're not putting the proper emphasis on the fact that we are being invaded and Americans are dying at a higher rate than Americans died during World War II on a daily basis as a result of these policies. That's why these policies haven't changed. Very clarifying to me today based on your testimony as well as the ATA. On a separate subject, Director Haynes, I want to ask you, well, first of all, I want to ask you what you mean by misperception of U.S. policies when it comes to our southern border, and I'll let you address that as quickly as you can, please.
Thank you, Congressman. I apologize if I gave you a misimpression that we do not believe that counter-narcotics is a critical aspect of our work and that it is a priority for the intelligence community.
Not to interrupt, it's not counter-narcotics. It's security of our homeland, defense of our southern border. That is not the priority. You didn't give me the perception, you've given the American people that perception, and your annual threat assessment reflects that. And frankly, we'll look at your budgets. I'm an appropriator for the Justice Department. I'll look at your budgets to see if it reflects that priority here shortly, but sorry, go ahead and continue.
No, I just want you to know that that is a priority from our perspective. I think on the border, we actually, obviously support and facilitate the United States government terrorism watch listing process. We have parts of our, even in ODNI, NCTC, the National Counterterrorism Center, serves as the USG's central and shared knowledge, basically on known and suspected terrorists, and we maintain TIDE, and we do a lot of work to try to ensure that all of the intelligence we have is provided to our border agents and to the Department of Homeland Security for the work.
I can reclaim the last 10 seconds. It's a priority. I would submit that it needs to be your #1 priority. And as a mission right now, we are failing. This is a war that we are currently losing, and at the rate of 100,000 American lives every year. So I'll defer my technical questions for the classified setting, but thank you, guys.